of you would love to spend a night in Milwaukee with the lovely Lana. I think that's pretty much everybody listening to my NXT review tonight. Well, Aiden English certainly did that. He had Lana waltz on into his hotel room, knocked on the door, uttered some sensual words, and I quote, "I want you." I want you to what? I want you to stop watching Monday Night Raw. It is dangerous for your well-being. End quote. Now, if I was Lana and I went into Aiden English's hotel room, that's exactly what I would have uttered. That's exactly what I would have said. There's no words more sexier than those words right there. I want you to stop watching Monday Night Raw. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on what happened in Milwaukee and the conclusion, I would assume for right now, of, and who the fuck is bothering me, man? Oh my goodness. Don't you see I'm working over here, bro? Like Lana was working in Milwaukee. SmackDown Live review is live on the channel right now, along with the Monday Night Raw review. Go check that stuff out if you have not done so yet. This is NXT, motherfucker. This is NXT review. This review is just as good as Tony Nese's 8-pack abs, man. As always, every single week. NXT this week. Man, NXT didn't really do anything, I would say, of importance this week. It was a good show. It was a good 1-hour time filler, but it really didn't do anything as far as, exceeding one's expectations. It was just one of those in-between weeks before we have another big week next week for the North American Championship with Adam Cole, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne battling over Ricochet's North American Championship, which I can't wait for. Should be another match of the year candidate, I'm assuming, for NXT. And this is right in between the final set of TV tapings. This was right before the following set of tapings before we get into War Games. So we're not nearly there yet. We're right in between. We're in the middle of the road here with NXT TV tapings. The next set of TV tapings will really push us towards what we are going to see at War Games, and those should be storyline driven. This is what I really enjoy, man. With NXT, even though there are down weeks, you get to see some talent that you're not used to seeing on television. And guys like Tony Nese can get on NXT with no real storyline direction because he's not really a part of the NXT roster. He's part of 205 Live. And we could get to see him work in a great match with somebody like Johnny Gargano. That's what NXT was today. It was one of those in-between episodes before we hit something really big, and it did its job. It entertained you for a good hour. And I really don't have any complaints at all about NXT, man. We're going to go over the show from top to bottom. Before I do that, like I said, Raw and SmackDown Live reviews are live on the channel right now. Go check that stuff out. Follow me on Twitter, at JD206. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. Our goal for NXT review tonight is 1,000 likes. Let's try and get 1,000 likes. Any more than 1,000 likes, you will make me a very happy individual, man. So thank you guys so very much for that. And if you want to support the podcast, as always, the Patreon is open. Patreon.com/JD from NY 206, where you patrons have Off the Script on Friday already uploaded for you guys. An hour and a half of me ranting on Monday Night Raw's low record-setting ratings, and then obviously the Super House Show Showdown preview and predictions, man. Hour and a half of Off the Script live right now for Patreons. Go check it out. And if you guys want to sign up, like I said, patreon.com/JD from NY206. NXT starts off tonight, man, with Nikki Cross, and she is in a dark hallway, or she's in the bowels of the building, wherever this woman likes to reside during NXT TV. And she's in a darkened area, and she goes on to say, games are fun, especially ones you could play with other people. Now, I don't know what she's talking about. You know, I enjoy a good game of Monopoly every now and then. I enjoy a good game of Battleship every now and then. I enjoy a good game of chess. Little known fact, JD enjoys chess. There you go. But Nikki Cross isn't talking about those types of games, man. She's talking about Bianca Belair. Cross thinks it's fun to play with Bianca Belair and can't wait to do it again. Cross hopes Belair isn't afraid, though, next time when they meet, because the first time they didn't have very good behavior. So she says, speaking of not having good behavior, she repeatedly says over and over and over again, I know. And this is talking clearly about the Aleister Black's case. Aleister Black's attacker. We don't know who did it. Apparently, Nikki Cross knows who did it. I'm still hoping that it's revealed as Cassius Ohno. I think that would be great. But a lot of people... Now, I heard one person tell me personally who they thought it was, and they revealed that they think it's EC3. I immediately brushed that off. And just to throw a little cherry on top of this Aleister Black situation here that we've been talking about for a couple of months now, I am becoming more open to the fact of it being EC3 than Cassius Ohno right now. I'm still sticking with my gut instinct on Cassius Ohno, but if I was to guess what WWE is going to do as a second choice here, I would not be shocked if it is revealed to be EC3. Now, I am not really all that excited about an EC3 Aleister Black one-on-one match. That doesn't excite me whatsoever. EC3 really hasn't excited me at all since, joining NXT and debuting at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in that ladder match for the North American Championship. But what it could possibly do for EC3 is, as a babyface, I feel like he is miscast. He really didn't do anything as far as, gain notoriety so far in NXT. He really hasn't gotten the fans to invest in him and what he's trying to do. NX3 is a good catchphrase. It's a nice little cool catchphrase he's got, but I'm not really NX3, man. I'm NXT. So if this actually lends to EC3 turning heel, I might be a little bit more open to it than I was in the past. So we have to wait and see what's going on with that. But Nikki Cross says that she knows who attacked Aleister Black. Candice LeRae versus Lacey Evans was the opening match here. This all came to be because Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano were walking away from an interview last week. And Lacey Evans, just out of nowhere, comes up to Candice LeRae and says, a real woman would have stuck by her man even at his lowest points. So pretty much telling Candice LeRae that she's not doing a good job as Johnny's husband and that Johnny would need a real woman. Now, I don't know about that, man. If you're going to have me pick and choose who I would take home, I'm going with Candice LeRae, no question. There's something about Lacey Evans that, as far as her gimmick, something about Lacey Evans that I just don't like, man. Something is not clicking with Lacey Evans. I don't know what it is. Clearly, you could see that WWE management in NXT has some sort of, liking to her. She's been featured a lot on WWE NXT, man. She's been featured a lot on NXT TV. Whether it's in a tag team match with Aaliyah, whether it's getting a few big wins over other female talent on the roster, she's been featured pretty heavily, man. Coming out of TakeOver in Brooklyn, Lacey Evans has been featured more so than Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. So that says a lot. Now, I wouldn't put too much stock in that because I really don't want my women's champion on every show. And Lacey Evans is a talent that WWE wants to feature a little bit more. So, there is an experiment going on right now, and there's a growing process here put in place with Lacey Evans. Kairi Sane's already over. Shayna Baszler's already established. Lacey Evans is not. But the fact that we're seeing more of Lacey Evans than anybody else, that includes a Candice LeRae, a Bianca Belair, a Nikki Cross, or anybody else in the women's division. It's pretty remarkable. But there's something about Lacey Evans that I really don't enjoy. I honestly think her gimmick, this throwback to what a real woman should be, with the woman's right, it's a little too cringe for me. And I'm just not finding myself investing myself in her character. And I was hoping that Candice LeRae would get the victory here, but Candice is just like her husband. She's pretty much bulletproof when it comes to taking a loss. Candice is always going to be that one individual in your division that's going to garner a huge reaction because people just genuinely love her. And Candice LeRae is already well established. WWE is trying to get Lacey Evans to a Candice LeRae point, and they gave Lacey Evans the victory here tonight. And it was a great story that was told on Mauro Ranallo. Just like Johnny Gargano, Candice pretty much channeled her inner Johnny and let her emotions get the best of her. There was a moment in this match where the referee was trying to pull them apart. Lacey Evans said, "You're just like your husband. You are a failure." And that just set Candice LeRae off. A barrage of punches and slaps in the corner, not once, but twice. Referee almost disqualified Candice LeRae. But when she went back for a third time, Lacey Evans met her with the woman's right. She fell like a ton of bricks. Lacey Evans falls right on top of Candice LeRae. 1, 2, 3. Lacey Evans beats Candice LeRae clean in the middle of the ring because Candice LeRae let her emotions get the best of her. Like I said, Candice is bulletproof. Lacey Evans is not bad in the ring. It's all in the gimmick. I am just not enjoying it right now. I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know what needs to be tweaked. I don't know. But WWE clearly is high on Lacey Evans. She gets a big singles victory clean over Candice LeRae. There was a great vignette for the North American Championship with Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and Adam Cole. And the entire match next week is being built around one thing and one thing only. There's a personal grudge between Ricochet and Adam Cole. Yes. There's unfinished business between Ricochet and Pete Dunne. Yes. But every man in that match is making one thing and one thing only the biggest priority out of everything. And that is being the North American champion. And for that, I am very proud. And I'm very happy to see that they put a spotlight on the title and not the competitors or one individual competitor. Adam Cole says he wants to become the first two-time North American champion. Ricochet says he is going to win this match and defend the title all over the globe. Pete Dunne says he wants to be a champion in 2 different continents. This is just great shit. It's 3 guys on the same level, competitive, athletic, and they want to be the best at their craft, fighting over the North American Championship. And believe it or not, the championship is the biggest thing in the entire fucking match. Not some storyline, not some agenda, not one guy and what he can do and what he brings to the table. It's the fucking title. So good on WWE, man. That's the type of shit I like to see. Tommaso Ciampa was backstage, or I guess he was in the same place that Nikki Cross was, in the bowels of the building, on his cell phone again. Says, wherever you are at the top, there are people who will do anything that they can to take you down. He's got that right. And in this instance, they will do anything to take the title away from him. Ciampa says Velveteen Dream's name is fitting because he seems to be living in a dream world, especially if he thinks Ciampa is the guy who attacked Aleister Black. Ciampa says for Dream to be careful and to keep those theories to himself because he is going to make this dream a nightmare. And that's exactly what he said to the Velveteen Dream. He's the guy who took out Johnny Gargano and ended the fairy tale story. And he took out Aleister Black by taking the NXT World title. So it looks like we are getting Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver War Games for the NXT World title Take my fucking money, please. I want you to have it. Thank you so much, Mr. H. The Forgotten Sons. Jackson Riker, Wesley Blake, and Steve Cutler versus three guys who apparently, if you were to go into WWE 2K19, and this is a new option in the game, by the way, and if you go to the create a character feature and you hit random, where you can randomize a created character with randomized outfits and facial expressions and goatees and looks and all that stuff. That's exactly what these guys look like. It looks like you hit the random button in WWE 2K19 and out popped three creator wrestlers for the Forgotten Sons to pretty much dissect here on NXT TV. Vinny Mixon. Hey, yo, Vinny! What are you doing over here, Vinny? Cesar Rise and Tori Kirsch. Who do you think won this match? This is not really making me like the Forgotten Sons any more than I already do. I think the Forgotten Sons are on their way to being completely forgotten, if you're asking me. I just don't find anything about the Forgotten Sons interesting. Nothing. Yeah, I know their backstory, but their backstory isn't really one of interest. And I just feel like, I mentioned this already, Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy, when they were managed by Alexa Bliss, who was the star of that show? It was Alexa Bliss. And I feel like when Alexa Bliss moved on to bigger and better things, they were there and they really didn't go anywhere. They had nothing to really set them apart. They were floating in a sea of nothing. They were boring. They had no identity, and their identity left to do her own thing. The Forgotten Sons feel like the same thing. It feels like, to me, Wesley Blake tried to, reinvent himself and surround himself with new faces, yet he's right back to square one. There's nothing about this team that makes me the slightest interested at all. And I don't know. I don't know how long I'm gonna wait to just find something that interests me about this team, but they better do something fast. Forgotten Sons win here. They just destroyed these guys. I mean, there was a lariat by Wesley Blake that just took, I don't even know whose head off. It looked like it was Vinny. Vinny Mixon took his head off. At the end of this thing, reverse DDT double stomp combo on Kirsch. Riker with a slingshot powerbomb covered for the win. 1, 2, 3. Forgotten Sons win in dominating fashion here by pinfall. Shayna Baszler, talking about the first time she faced Kairi Sane, which was last year's Mae Young Classic. She's training now, better prepared now for the upcoming title match. Baszler says the training she does is far more grueling than what any woman in NXT can do. Shayna Baszler is evolving, is the whole going theme of this. The women are evolving, but they're not evolving more than Shayna Baszler is. And Shayna Baszler has definitely evolved. You could definitely use that word and coin that phrase, evolve, or evolution, with Shayna Baszler. This is not the same Shayna Baszler we've seen in the finals of the Mae Young Classic last year. At all. She's gotten so much better. She is so far ahead of where she was last year that I'm proud to say that I watched this woman. I stuck by her. I was a fan of her from the Mae Young Classic, coming out of it till now. I'm even more of a fan now that I listened to a podcast with Sam Roberts and Shayna Baszler, and he asked her what she does in her downtime when she's not wrestling, playing the Nintendo Switch, and she's playing Octopath Traveler. Something that I'm currently playing on my Nintendo Switch when I'm not on YouTube. That was pretty cool. So Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane at WWE Evolution. One of the very few matches at that show I am absolutely looking forward to, because their last match was fucking great. Kathy Kelly backstage talks with Tony Nese about showing up in NXT. Nese says he proves on 205 Live why he's the premier athlete and plans to do the same in NXT, starting with Johnny Gargano. And then he showed off his abs, which I guess made everybody jealous. Because I wish I had abs like Tony Nese. Absolutely. Backstage, Kathy Kelly talked with Bianca Belair about Nikki Cross wanting another rematch against her. Belair says she's not here to play around or play games. Damn it! I wanted to sink Bianca Belair's battleship, bro. Baszler says she's still undefeated. Don't tell Vince McMahon that. I thought Nikki Cross should have moved on. But now she's going to have to embarrass Nikki Cross once again. Johnny Gargano, actually, speaking of Bianca Belair, Charlotte was actually asked in an interview. I think it was a magazine interview. I don't know who conducted it. It was Sports Illustrated or ESPN. She put over Bianca Belair pretty big, man. She was like, Bianca Belair is the one person I'm looking forward to coming out of NXT, man. She's an absolute stud, is what she said about Bianca Belair. So, little fun fact there about Miss Bianca Belair, the EST of NXT. She's definitely one of the biggest rising stars in the women's division, no question. Johnny Gargano versus Tony Nese. This was a damn good fucking match, man. This was a damn good match, man. And one match that I would love to see more of from Tony Nese. I think we got to get Tony Nese on NXT, period. I want to see more of 205 Live talent, period, on NXT. I want to see TJP. I want to see Buddy Murphy. I want to see Lio Rush. I want to see Cedric Alexander. There should be a rotation of stars from 205 Live and NXT. No question. Tony Nese is so... I was a fan of Tony Nese since round 1 of the Cruiserweight Classic. The guy was great then. He is so much above where he was 2 years ago at the Cruiserweight Classic. The guy is so fucking underrated. The guy was buried on 205 Live when Vince McMahon was in charge. The guy was a bum. The guy was not highlighted in any way at all. And I don't know why. But yet here we are, watching Tony Nese against Johnny fucking Gargano, and it probably is the best match of the entire fucking week. I don't understand why talent like this is suppressed by some and then highlighted by the others. Really irks the shit out of me, man. Tony Nese is such an underrated fucking talent. And he's from New York. Go figure. Always the biggest and brightest here in New York. Even though the city's a fucking piece of shit. Which I'll be in Manhattan tomorrow morning. I'll be there for the New York City Comic Con. So if you guys are in and around the New York City Comic Con and you see me, call me a fucking goon, bruh. Call me a goon. Anyway, Johnny Gargano. Speaking on John, we know how good Tony Nese is. I'm glad to see Tony Nese here in NXT. Johnny Gargano. The whole story with Johnny Gargano is getting him back to where he was before all this Ciampa stuff happened. It looks like Johnny Gargano is definitely rising above, I want to say. That heat that we seen Johnny get where they were singing the nah, 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 hey, 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 goodbye to Johnny Gargano, and this defeated, almost emo-like Johnny Gargano, holding his head down in defeat, crying, and just not what we know of Johnny Wrestling. Looks like Johnny Wrestling is back, man. That heat that Johnny was getting is definitely going away. Definitely going away, man. You barely heard any heat tonight. They were pro Johnny in this arena all night, which is a good thing to see. Now they got to keep Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa away from one another until WrestleMania. That's all we have to do. And I'm sure Johnny is going to be quite busy building his resume, getting back to number 1 contendership. And Ciampa's going to have, he's going to have Dream. He's going to have Black again. Tommaso Ciampa's going to be busy on his own, bro. But Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa need to be separated. They do not need to ever utter each other's names until WrestleMania. This was a damn good match, man. A damn good fucking match. At the end of this thing, there was a spot. And, I love Johnny Wrestling. I love Johnny Wrestling, man. He's probably my favorite wrestler in the entire company right now. Easily. I love me some Adam Cole. I love me some Velveteen Dream. But Johnny's, and Ciampa, even though he's the heel. Johnny is one of my favorites in the entire company, man. At the end of this thing, man, Tony Nese really gave you a clear-cut indication of what the fucking guy's capable of. Gargano went for a tornado DDT. Tony Nese catches him, dumps him on the floor. Okay? Nese goes over with a tope over the top, lands on Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is tossed back into the ring. Tony Nese climbs the top rope, does a beautiful 450 splash. Cover, 2 count only. Now, Gargano is put in the corner. Nese looks for a running kick. Gargano hits an enziguri. And then Nese with a German fucking suplex in the corner that leveled Gargano with the back of his head on the middle turnbuckle. Now, that would normally knock somebody out, and that would be an opening for someone to win the fucking match. Johnny no-sells this fucking thing. It's like he was saving his super meter in Street Fighter up until the end of the fucking match with the time limit dwindling down. He did his max combo. He leveled up. He no-sold his German suplex into the corner where he hit his head on the turnbuckle. Comes out of the corner with a super kick. Then a lariat. Knocks Tony Nese inside out. Then he applies the Gargano escape. And Tony Nese taps within seconds. And that was it. Now, I love me some Johnny Gargano, but you should not be no-selling a German suplex like that in the corner. That looked that devastating. I'm sorry. But I understand that NXT and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and everybody involved with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, they need to start rebuilding Johnny Gargano. This was step one in rebuilding Johnny Wrestling. And the fans ate it. The fans ate it up. They loved it. They bought into it. They didn't mind that he got German suplexed into oblivion and pretty much no-sold it. Johnny Gargano wins with the Gargano escape. Great fucking match. Probably will be the best match of the week in WWE. No question. It's what Johnny Wrestling does. At the end of the match, Johnny Gargano goes to the crowd and grabs a generic sign in the crowd front row. And it said Johnny freaking Gargano. And he holds it up for the camera to see. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, man, they're back. They're going to be a big addition to the tag team division. Good to have them back, man. Still to this day, I think that is the best tag team match on all of WWE TV this year at NXT TakeOver Chicago against Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era. Still, I think that was the best tag team match in all of WWE this year. And I can't wait to see what Lorcan and Burch do, building their way back up to a tag team title match. I think they're a great team. They're a great combination. Two guys who are polar opposites of one another that just look perfect together. It's good shit. They found, this is what NXT does, and this is why I love everybody in charge of NXT, man. If you're listening, I love you. They took two guys and their strengths, and they realized that there's not much going on for Oney Lorcan. There's not much going on for Danny Burch. These guys are good and capable of doing good. Let's combine these strengths and make them into a fucking formidable duo. And that's exactly what they did. There's no waste of talent. Individually, they would be wasted. Individually, Oney Lorcan is an enhancement guy. Individually, Danny Burch is an enhancement guy. Together, they're a great fucking tag team. So, they're playing to their strengths. Good on them. Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair, 2 weeks away. I love that NXT usually gets you hyped and lets you know what's coming. 2 weeks away for Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair. Next week, we get to see the big man, Keith Lee, versus Kona Reeves and Ricochet defending the North American title against Adam Cole and Pete Dunne. The main event, man. Holy shit. Holy shit, man. I hope Lars is okay after this fucking match. I hope EC3 is okay after this match. EC3 versus Lars Sullivan. Lars makes his grand entrance. Love his entrance. EC3, wearing a fur coat, was doing his typical entrance, looking up at the Titantron, pointing to the letters in his name. He didn't even point. He just ran down to the fucking ring. He said, fuck the EC3. He ran right down to the ring, and he started to beat up on Lars Sullivan before the bell even rang. So this was an all-out war for the 10 minutes that these guys were in the ring. This was a hard-hitting match, man. And the biggest concern coming out of this match was not only Lars Sullivan, but EC3. These guys were very, very stiff, man. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just an instance in where they wanted to play up to the fact that, there is an ongoing investigation. They're blaming each other here. And they're really playing up the fact that, listen, neither one of us did it. So I'm blaming you. And they're taking their frustrations out on one another. That could be it. Or the fact that both of these guys are just so high octane that they have so much masculinity in them that they wanted to prove who the fucking dominant male was here. Because this shit was fucking physical. And by physical, I mean EC3 shoved Lars Sullivan into the steel steps. Not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. 3 times. Every time that EC3 shoved Lars Sullivan into the steel steps, he came back and grabbed a fucking handful of his throat. EC3 shoved him into the steel steps. It was on the 3rd time where the steel steps just moved completely away from the fucking ring. Lars Sullivan, the small of Lars Sullivan's back on his left side, scraped the steel steps so bad, I swear to God, he was cut. He was cut on his back. It looked like a fucking great white shark took a bite out of his fucking ribcage, dude. That's how bad it was. He was sliced open from the steel steps. EC3 was not prone, or not immune, rather, to Lars Sullivan. Because at the end of this thing, he was fucking busted open as well. I didn't catch where EC3 was busted open, but he was bleeding as well from the mouth, and it looked like he was bleeding on his arm. This was a physical fucking war, man. Sullivan lifted EC3 up. EC3 is trying to fight out of it. Sullivan releases, or EC3 rather, with a released German suplex on Lars Sullivan. That goes to show you how strong EC3 is. EC3 with a released German suplex, did a stinger splash in the corner, heads to the top rope. He does a crossbody, but it didn't look really all that good or all that impressive. It was very sloppy. He goes for a 2 count. EC3 with some blood on his cheek. So it looked like maybe the crossbody block actually maybe knocked a tooth out, or maybe one of his teeth scraped against his gum or his lip. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some news on that later in the week. Sullivan then tried to mount the comeback. He looked to finish off EC3. He fights off Sullivan, does EC3. EC3 with a clothesline that takes both of them out to the floor. Sullivan picks up EC3 and hits a freak accident on the apron. Sullivan then heads to the top rope and, I guess in Bam Bam Bigelow fashion, an ode or an homage to Bam Bam Bigelow. Not as impressive as Bam Bam said, but impressive nonetheless for a fucking 300-pound monster like Lars Sullivan. Flying headbutt off the top rope, and it beat EC3. Now, 2 things here. This was a physical match. This was another showcase in which Lars Sullivan is getting better week by week, month by month, which is nice to see. EC3 has not really had anything going for him. So for everybody that said, EC3 possibly could be the one who attacked Aleister Black because of what's going on and instances like this. So for everybody that's told me that I think EC3 attacked Aleister Black, I'm hoping it's Cassius Ohno for whatever reason, because I want to be right. And I think it plays just as good of a story on Cassius Ohno than it does anybody else. But for those who told me EC3, I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I'm thinking that you guys may be right. Because EC3 has done nothing in NXT. And to build a name for himself, and to come off like a cocky prick, I didn't do it. And he blamed it on Lars Sullivan? And he can't beat Lars Sullivan? So he attacked Aleister Black to try and make a name for himself, but picked the fight with Lars Sullivan anyway? Just to try and prove his innocence? I don't know, man. I don't know. The writing's on the wall. I may be leaning with you guys that told me I think EC3 attacked Aleister Black. But we're going to find out sooner rather than later, because Nikki Cross knows who did it. That was your NXT review, man. And like I said, it was a good show. It didn't really further any storylines. It got you excited about what's to come. This particular set of tapings is right in between SummerSlam, coming out of SummerSlam, and where we're going for War Games. So there's not going to be a lot of big, heavy storyline continuation right now. So we're taking it easy, and we're going to start building towards TakeOver in the next set of tapings here, which should be good for NXT, man. Still a good show nonetheless, with a great fucking match with Gargano and Tony Nese, and a very, very physical main event between Lars Sullivan and EC3. Like I said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications, and I will see you tomorrow. If you guys are going to be at the New York City Comic-Con, I'll be there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with more content right here on the channel where we talk about Episode 5 of the Mae Young Classic. Until then, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow for my Episode 5 review of the Mae Young Classic. I'll talk to you later.